This is a place where people turn for help.
What we believe about addiction is going to determine how we're going to treat you.
He is on the road to recovery now with the help of a treatment facility in Berks County.
It is a harmful drug. It's a mood-altering chemical, like any other drug.
An illness, a disease, addiction.
Officials from the Caron Treatment Centers are joining lawmakers to push a proposed
Caron
bill.
Foundation is the place where addiction ends and recovery begins.
When I no longer could look at me, I quit drinking. And I didn't quit drinking for any other reason, period. So you see, unfortunately, there are people who are sick who never reach this particular conclusion. And yet one of the failings of our society is when we do not offer to that sick person the help that humanity demands.
Our very natures are imperfect, our recovery is imperfect, and our intentions are imperfect. However, we do the best we can, and that's the whole part of progress. Dick Caron had many faults, yet he was a remarkable man who touched lives in a profound way. I think of him bringing that first alcoholic into his house 55 years ago. Limited knowledge, limited expertise, but he gave him the love, he gave him the understanding that he did have, and that gentleman ended up having a wonderful life in recovery. And that is really the ripple effect of what Dick Caron has been all about. One alcoholic, one addict at a time, helping them as best as can be.
My husband was in Berks County Prison due to alcohol. A few of the men had AA meetings there, and that's how he met Dick. And the last thing they said before he got out is, "We're going to give you a dime, and you can either pick up a drink or give me a call." They left him off on Penn Street, and he walked up and down a couple of times thinking, "No, I think a drink sounds a little bit better." But he didn't do that. He took the dime and he called Dick.
My father believed you needed other people. You know, you can't do anything alone. You need a higher power, and you need other people in AA to stay sober. So that's what he tried to give to those early people that came in the house, a family that loved them, and we did, I sure did. A good meal, and the steps, 12 steps of AA, because that's what they started out with.
And Mom and Dad both were like parents to everybody who went through our home. Whether it was my father trying to help them budget and learn about financing and responsibility and paying their bills, and Mom trying to teach them life skills, taking care of themselves, learning how to cook and clean and to do AA work as well.
With John coming out of jail and Dick talking to Warden Stitzel at that time and said, "You know, some of these guys, if you can let out on work release, we'll take care of them."
Lucille and Myrtle and Joni Smith, and these were people that obviously had a drinking problem, had the disease, and needed the opportunity in some cases to get out of jail. And Mom and Dad would welcome them into the house, and one of their first tasks was taking care of me as I was 3, 4, 5 years old.
I used to stay up there overnight a lot, just because it's what, 10, 11, 12-year-old girls did. And I told Linda about my father's behavior one time, and she told me, as an 11-year-old would, all about what her father did. And I remember saying to her, "There's no way you're ever going to get my father to stop drinking."
Dick knew this disease. He knew how powerful it was, and he was patient. He didn't ask for anything in return. He took care of my father when my father was drunk. He would bring him home at night. He was always there for all of us. It took 4 years, but my dad got sober, and we never thought that he would.
It was his faith more than anything else that really started the farm, because he put in his faith in God where the point is, where everything else, what else can I do? I can talk to this person, I can do this, I can ask for this, and then it just happened.
When Dick Caron purchased the Highland House Hotel, there wasn't a lot of money there. They borrowed the money to do that. They turned to compassionate friends in the community for help.
When I got out of college, I took a job at the same family business, the textile business, Caron Spinning in Robisonia, outside, just not too far from Wernersville. and my desk was not too far away from his. It was interesting how often he was on the phone talking about chit-chat business. And I wasn't quite sure what chit-chat had to do with the business I was in, but I knew I was still learning.
He was running that plant, but he spent most of his time running chit-chat. But I admired him for that.
I arrived and I thought I was a big deal. And I told everybody how important I was. And a little lady by the name of Carmela said, if you're that important, we're going to give you the same job that we gave the assistant governor of Maryland. They made me the garbage man. That was probably the best thing that could have happened to me. It was humbling without being humiliating. One of the things that it did do is I got an opportunity to meet Dick Caron. My time of picking up the trash in his office coincided with the hours that Dick could work. He was very sick at the time. He was dying of emphysema, and I had many opportunities to sit down and talk to him while he was working in his office and I was picking up the trash. What an unbelievable set of circumstances that is. I have to believe that that was much more than just a coincidence.
My father always felt chit-chat would go on. He felt he left it in the best hands possible, my mother's. And I think the only thing that he felt so strongly about was never turning anyone away.
She was one of the ones, prodding the staff along, trying to get help, because she had been the spouse for whom nothing was available except alimony.
My daughter suffers from the addiction of drug and alcohol. When our daughter was born and we were visiting up here, my mom said to my wife that we did all this so there'd be a great place for my grandkids to go to if they needed it. And of course my wife was like, well, our kids are going to be fine. There's not going to be anything wrong. She didn't really understand the possibilities of what may happen. And so when we brought her up here and we sat in Caron Treatment Center, and there's the portrait, she started crying. She remembered what my mom had said and what she had thought.
All his work in the prisons and with all the people that he worked with over the years, he saw lives changed, families saved. And you have one of those experiences and it makes you want to help, makes you want to do something. You have hundreds and hundreds of those. It becomes a passion in your life to do more and to help more people.
I can never repay the debt I owe to the Caron Foundation because I have 5 sons. 4 of my 5 sons are drug addicts and alcoholics. And every one of them got clean and sober before the age of 25 because of Caron.
When you look at what one man started because of his passion and commitment to helping others, it's truly incredible. I sit there every day and when I drive up the mountain, it's like, wow, this all started with one man's dream, with one man's vision, with one man's passion.
When I think about Chit-Chat turning 50, and I think about what it was like growing up in Wyomissing Hills and just one family trying to do and to help other people in the community, I'm amazed, awestruck at all that's been accomplished, and I think my parents would be. And I think they'd be so proud that so many people took their message and followed the same path and helped somebody, gave an alcoholic a job, wrote a check for support for somebody who couldn't pay for Chit-Chat, helped wherever they could. I think they would be grateful.